Better Life. Let's make it real. This is a better life. From scars to stars, from pain to bulletproof. Teresa, better life. A better life with you. Talking news, pop culture life, love and scandal, heart to heart. No playing small, we rise, we fall, we laugh, we do it all. A better life is one brave call. Teresa, better life. Let's build a better life. Let's build a better life. A better life. Teresa, better life.
Hello, 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 hello. Oh, okay. Well, it seems like things are wrapping up and winding down from the holidays, coming off that holiday high or the holiday sleep. I don't know, however you want to think of it. It would be more like a holiday slumber for me, kind of getting back in the mix of doing lives and pulling together information I want to share with you on the show. So we'll see. My technology, my wireless mic, or not my wireless keyboard and mouse are glitching out. So I might have to just use my laptop. So say hello here. Hello in the chat. Hello. I haven't seen you guys in a bit. Let's see. I went live on the Friday of, was it right before Christmas, or was it right that Friday? Anyway, we went live. Hi, Cisco. Hello. So I was thinking that Candace was going to be on, and she wasn't. But anyways, it ended up being a really great show. It's good to see you again, and good to be back. But it is, I'm still working out the cobwebs from being off and not being, having it all together. I've been doing some short posts on Instagram and sharing some shorts on YouTube here. But a lot has been going on. Is your head spinning? Mine is spinning with all the world news and events. And it's crazy right now. And it's, I'm interested in all of it that's going on. So for me, it's a little bit like with so much to talk about and think about it, I get to where I'm like, okay, well, which ones do we want to talk about here? The world is moving entirely too fast. It's breakneck. I've been saying this for a while. I feel like something big's going down. Big things are happening, right? But as big as what we see is happening, I think there's even so much more going on that's going to keep hitting us and hitting us and hitting us. The invasion of Venezuela, bringing in Maduro and his wife, and all of that. I don't even know where to begin because it's all crazy. And this week, I know you guys have heard me talk about the Justin Baldoni Blake Lively lawsuit that's been in the works over the past almost year and a half, and some new information is coming out about that. They are releasing information to us. So there's a lot. Okay. So I don't know what time Candace is going on. So what I want to do is make sure I have this open so I can get alerts. Let's see what she says. Join us live. Okay, she just posted this. So I'm good. I'm glad I looked. So I'm just going to look here real quick to see when Tyler Robinson. Okay, 4:15 today. Okay, so we've got a little bit. So anyways, let's dive into talking about Mitch. Have you guys been keeping up with what's going on with Mitch? No. There's a lot of juicy stuff. Well, Alex Jones has come out crazy. He crashed out, declaring war on Candace, accusing Candace of working as an operative for the Democrat Party. He was insane on X. Did anybody see that meltdown? Holy cow. Mitch turned out to be rather combative. Is he? I have just caught snips like from X, and apparently on X he made a post about being the son of the Zodiac killer. Did you see that? So, and people of course are calling him crazy. They were calling him crazy to begin with, but now, he's got that. And then his son came out. His son came on to what was his son on? Patriot something. Anyway, so supposedly Mitch's son came out and talked about Mitch, and Mitch lost credibility for that too. But Stu Peters had him live on his show, and Mitch is talking about that, saying that he doesn't know this kid. He hasn't, he saw him maybe when he was 2 years old. The mother was living with someone else. He hasn't been in contact with them. So Mitch is alleging that he didn't know that this kid was his emergency contact, and that somebody may have added his estranged son, or there's no relationship, and he's alleging that somebody put his son as his emergency contact. So that's rather interesting. So I'm going to go ahead and play a little bit of this. I wish I could get that. Okay. So this on Stu Peters. So this is the first time seeing it. I knew about it, but as I was preparing, I queued it up so I could watch it with you guys here. So I'm going to push play.
They've literally revealed themselves as playing good cop, bad cop, trying to get into Candace Owens' camp, tried to take over her audience, and nobody.
And Candace is saying, she's saying that everybody's trying to make Mitch and Candace turn against one another.
Forced them to do this, but they've definitely been trying to use me to do it. They've tried to claim that, because I am a veteran, I am military, I'm military intelligence, I have been in special forces, that somehow I had to go through them. And, I told Ms. Owens, let's face the criticism first. Let's go through the hard things, because they're going to bring up a lot of dirt on me. Let's just go do it. She had someone of higher class vet me, and that's wisdom there. That showed that she had diligence and wisdom. These guys, they're rucksacks in the hall, I think, with all of this stuff, and they're not gonna. If anybody's still listening to them after all of this, oh, God bless you.
So he thinks that they're, and Candace thinks they're just trying to smear him. So he's got a history, like a lot of people do. Not the same kind of history, but he's got a history. So I'm interested to know what you think, if he is credible. So Candace says, listen, whatever he did in his past, it doesn't matter, because he's telling the truth about being at Fort Huachuca. That's the only thing we need to be caring about, and we don't need to care about the rest of it. And everybody else argues, well, your witness is only as good as his dark past or hidden past or the lies that he's told. So I'm torn. I agree and I disagree. And that's a hard place to be, because I agree. Yes, the facts, what he's, giving us as a witness is that he was there at Fort Huachuca. He may or may not have seen the people that he saw. It may be accurate, but his past having nothing to do with that shouldn't come into question.
God bless you. What
do you think?
It's been quite a spectacle.
I mean, I've never seen a fall like this. It's really something to watch. And while Alex Jones was posting deceptive, manipulative, edited videos and calling you a hammer attacker, which, I mean, if you were a litigious person, I mean, I think that you definitely have a lawsuit there. And this guy's been using a massive platform to just drag your name through the mud and slander you and lie about you and defame you from the very beginning of all of this. But at the same time, then you have this other group, Valhalla and Gary Melton. These guys went so far as to drag your estranged son onto the platform. And why do they do that? They bring a son on because when they say, well, we have a very special guest here today, we have Mitch Snow's son. That immediately forces an audience to perk their ears up and lend some sort of credibility to this person because, well, of course, they would know you. They would have intimate knowledge of your emotions and your habits and your feelings, your military.
I'm trying to think. So I've read a couple of things, and they were saying that they had identified him, or I can't remember which one they said if they had, but they didn't have DNA. So how could they test his DNA if they have no DNA of the Zodiac killer? So, yeah. And why would Mitch, do you think he's crazy? Well, even crazy people sometimes have lucid moments, right?
Experience, your service to our country, your professional history, your places of residence, your relationships, they would have an inside look at all of this. But in this case, something that they didn't tell their audience was that you have never met this person. Is that true? You've never met this person that they propped up as your son on their podcast?
One time when he was about 2 months old and his mother came to me to let me know she was already living with someone else. We had a non-contentious divorce. It just took a while because I was pursuing my career in special forces in the military. She had been in the military. She got out. She went home. She was living with others. And when it came time, he was adopted by the person that he's always called dad. I've never met this young man. I wish him nothing but the best. If there was anything I could do for him, I'd do it.
Okay, so they've never met.
But him and his mother, and I don't think his mother probably would approve of him getting on the show like that. But it's been a long time since I've talked to her, and I've never met this young man. And what's really disturbing to me is this claim that he was my emergency contact on anything. I don't even know his last name. I don't know his number. There's no. I've put him on no documents. We don't know how he would have gotten onto such a thing. It's been.
Yeah. So he's saying he didn't put him on any documents. Like he has nothing to do with him on paper or otherwise. He was adopted by his, stepfather, whomever the mom's with. Maybe the son is. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we'd never know if he was the son of the Zodiac killer. It'd make for some good fiction though.
That's a little bit disturbing. If there's any truth to what he was saying about being called.
So did the military police tell you that they had called somebody?
They did talk about a son. And when I spoke to them about my 13-year-old, they looked at me and they said, what are you talking about? He's 30-something years old. And I was like, what are you talking about? We went back and forth, but they never clarified. So I
Right. And so, okay. Yeah. So Mitch is claiming that the son is lying and that he has never put him on any sort of paperwork, didn't have, any way of knowing how he was put on that paperwork. And there was no mention of it in the report. So it would seem if they're doing their job and making a good and thorough report, they would have said contacted so-and-so of Mitch's contacts to, make sure that, he's stable, right? Because they were trying to determine whether or not Mitch was stable mentally.
I tend to believe that, yeah, they did contact him and there is some sort of reference to this person being in my records. Why they chose to do that, I don't know.
So is it possible that just as this guy pretended to be your son with intimate knowledge of your situation and your personality and your lifestyle and your past experiences and your relationships, while he sat there LARPing as your son, cosplaying as somebody who knows you for fake credibility and an astroturfed, bought and paid for, coordinated attempt on your character for assassination, while he sat there and pretended to do that, is it possible that he also sat before the military and pretended that your relationship was as such and had himself placed as your emergency contact? Is there a way that you could do that?
I'm sure there's probably a way you can do that. If we were to speculate about that, I think something like that probably did happen.
So would that mean that he would be the beneficiary of your retirement?
It wouldn't be the first time that people have tried to attack veterans in that way. And me being one,
I mean, he looks like Mitch. He looks like he's related to him, but who would do that? Do you believe him? Do you think And the government, if they were trying to smear Mitch, and that seems far-fetched. It seems far-fetched to me. Yeah.
No. We're trying to have people investigate it now. We haven't gotten many answers back, but they're starting an investigation to find out what happened there.
So just to be clear, I just want to really make sure that I understand this. The man that was on the podcast with Valhalla, who said that he was your son, you have met one time when he was 2 months old. One time. And he has another person that he has always called dad, who has since adopted him. But other than that, you have had zero contact with this guy. He doesn't know you. You've never seen him. You wouldn't recognize him. He shouldn't be able to recognize you. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. I've never seen him before in my life.
So the video that Alex Jones is showing while he calls you a hammer attacker has a woman holding a camera, and in her other hand is holding...
Okay. He hasn't seen him in his life. So that's just wild. I don't know. I don't know. I just don't see why they would go to such a length. But Candace says that she's got some more information on Huachuca today. And yeah, this is, I don't know, guys.
A firearm, something that Alex Jones doesn't want to talk about, specifically a 25 caliber pistol. And then on the other hand, Valhalla rolls out and props up a guy saying that he has intimate knowledge of your situation, personal, professional, and can be a witness to your character because he is your son. And this is a person that you've met one time when he was 2 months old. Does that about sum it up? I mean, could it get any more deceptive than that?
It seems pretty deceptive to me. It's pretty incredible. Yeah. I don't know this man, and they don't know the full story about these relationships or these relationships connection to this attorney that's been following me for years.
Well, Kat Espinda came on the program not long ago, and she started the platform when I said, hey, I believe that Mitch Snow saw what he saw at Fort Huachuca, and I don't care about his checkered past. I don't care about his relationship falling outs. I don't care. Really, honestly, I don't care about the hammer. I don't care about that. Even if it was a hammer attack, I don't know what that has to do with what you saw in Fort Huachuca. And if Alex Jones or Evan Kilgore or Morgan Ariel or Valhalla or Gary Melton, who, by the way, Gary Melton on the phone as he's trying to cozy up to you and build this fake rapport while he was fully intent on going online and just trashing you from the very beginning, which was proven because he acted and did that prior to you having any time to provide documentation. They're acting like you have to be perfect. And I said this in the lead.
Yeah. So I don't, yeah, it's wild. It's crazy. And we are in wild times. I don't know either. And is it important? Is it important to you if somebody comes out and makes a statement, if they are squeaky clean, or if they had, the wife supposedly had a weapon and Mitch had a hammer and he's hitting her car, and they get that out there. Oh, anyway, I would not want to, let me pause this, be him right now. At all. Oh, okay. So let me get over to my notes real quick. I want to put you guys on stage here in the comments because I'm going to see. Okay, I got to look at my notes real quick because I had some notes. So as I've been posting a lot on Instagram, and I put my shorts when I can on YouTube as well, but people are asking questions like, why does it even matter? A lot of different things, but let me get back over to your comments here too, because, okay, Siska says, I don't know, a lot of husbands and wives have altercations that they'd rather keep secret. Everybody does. Like either you say things or do things that you're ashamed of or whatever. Yeah. Let me put my notes over here on my teleprompter. Okay. So one of the things that I had put on is that people are asking, why does the Macron thing matter? Candace's investigation of Brigitte, and if she was a man. The other thing that they were asking of why does it matter is if Erica Kirk had a different last name, if she was married before Charlie. Do you think it matters if Erica Kirk was married before Charlie Shelsvig, I think was the last name that they were saying. And they're saying she kept it a secret. They're saying she tried to wipe the information off the internet. So let me show you. Let me show you this post. If you haven't seen it, let me share my screen. Okay, yeah, my mouse doesn't want to work for me. Okay, who is Erica? Let's go over here. And let's see. Erica who? Let's see. Okay, I'm going to present. Okay, let's see. Okay, Erica who? It sounds like Erica Kirk might have been married before Charlie Kirk and tried to scrub it from the internet. Take a listen to what Auntie Colette from TikTok has to say.
We all know who Erica Kirk is. Oh, silly me, I almost forgot. First things first, TikTok, you know me, this is purely for entertainment purposes only. All things stated here, just no less speculation. We're just thinking out loud. I got a new bikini goofing.
Okay, sorry, she goes on a little bit before she gets to the point which some people were super annoyed with.
Baby, let's go. Nothing here is actual or factual. Everything stated, allegedly. And we all know who Erica Franzway is. Erica Franzway was her name when she was born, and Erica Kirk was her name after she was married to Charlie in 2020. And so who in the heck is Erica Chelsvig? You might wonder, you might ask, or you may have no idea who I'm talking about. And you may have a very difficult time finding any information about this woman, Erica Chelsvig, but not me. You see, I have...
Okay, Erica Chelsvig. So, people are saying, why does that even matter? It doesn't matter if she was married before. What matters is if she was married before and was trying to hide it and trying to scrub it. Because then people are like, well, why would you be doing that? And that adds extra questions, which is what Candace's whole thing is. And why this got to such a heated degree is because the questions came and the investigation came as it appeared people were lying, as it appeared agencies are lying, and as things didn't make sense. The same with the Macron thing. So why does that matter? Well, it matters if people are trying to hide it, if they're lying about it, and if they're lying about their entire identity. It matters because people do that, and it's never for good reason. So that's the problem. The thing is why it matters about why Brigitte may have been born a man. Number one, aside from the part of seducing an underage boy at the time, there's also the whole thing of the larger families, like say the Rothschilds and all of that, inbreeding, having, relations with their own family members in order to keep the control and the money within the family. And I think that's part of what Candace is trying to let us know is that this is happening. And this is part of the problem of who we're being run by behind the scenes and who we're being controlled by. So yeah, that, I feel like that's what a lot of times people lose sight of the bigger picture of why she's bringing these things to light and why she believes it's being lied about and trying to be hidden, because these perversions are going on, and they're going on behind the scenes with people running our world, our entire world. Okay. So the other question that I had a lot was, and people are annoyed because Candace didn't stop, because Candace said if her husband or if Erica Kirk told her to stop, that she would stop. So this was in the beginning. Hi, Julia. Julia, you went to Amphis, I believe. Okay, so January 6 rioters are great heroes to me and my children. I bet they are just as bigoted towards Somalian people as we are. Okay. So, and then Cisco says the sexual morals are a bit looser in France and US. Yeah, but even back then, there was still that age. So there was the statutory issue with that. But yes, they are a lot looser, and that's not right. But Why are they looser over there? That would be my question. Okay. So people are mad because Candace didn't stop. This is older news to us, but people are still asking this question and still talking about how she didn't stop. The thing is, she didn't stop is because first of all, she was investigating the FBI. Candace, I don't believe in the beginning she ever thought there was a possibility that Erica Kirk was involved in a cover-up or that TPUSA was. I believe she fully thought it was our FBI and other agencies working with the foreign nation to make this happen. And she was digging into that. And I believe when she said that she would stop, she fully believed that and didn't think, and if Erica didn't want her to dig in, that she would have stopped. But she came to the realization that it's a possibility that Erica is fully embedded into that operation and covering for it, and that TPUSA is smack dab in the middle in on it too. So that's the part that people, I don't try to educate people a whole lot on blind. They come in, if they don't understand, if they haven't been following, the story, then and they don't want to understand. Most of the times they're just making that, they're making that comment because they're saying, whatever they're saying and whatever they believe. Julia says, Trump is the only president who was found guilty of felonies and libel of abuse. He was inaugurated in the same building his supporters rioted in. Yeah. And he's calling them heroes. And I was just seeing something before I hopped on the live that he was talking about, them being heroes and wanting them to have that title. Patriots. So have you guys, over this past weekend, I watched The Running Man. Have you guys seen it? It's a movie. It's a new movie. What is his name that he plays it? Let me look it up. Running Man. Oh, my keyboard. Why is this happening? What's his name? Oh, tell me if you've seen it. I haven't seen the new one. Yeah, let me see. Oh gosh, that's not the one. Goodness, that's not it. What's his name? Oh, Glenn Powell. There we go. Glenn Powell's in it. It's really interesting. So they have the money, they're calling it New Dollar in the movie. Also at the end when the credits are running and they have different things on the screen and they have words on there, take a look, because as we all know, I feel like we all know this, that art imitates life, and there are a lot of shows and movies, and I feel like a lot of time in Hollywood that they tell us things and they sort of just flaunt it, right? It's just right there in the face, whether it's a coincidence or not. Conspiracy theorists believe that Hollywood's in on a lot of this stuff, and they just make movies about it and laugh at us because, they're making movies about what they're really doing, and we're going and we're buying it. We're buying into those movies and giving them money without even realizing that's exactly what they're doing to us. Anyways, it was good. It starts out kind of slow and then it really picks up and really gets going. I ended up liking it a lot and really did wonder how much of that is actually happening. So I've said to my family, I haven't said this out loud in public to anybody else, but let's see what Cisco says. I remember the old Simpsons episode where they had future electronic money and it was called something like RXRP. Okay. Yes. So I the more I see, the more I think they do know things, and it's just, they just make movies about it. But it occurred to me a couple of years ago. I don't think it was this year. I think it was when Trump was in office before. But definitely has been this year for sure. Just not sure if that's the first time I thought it or said it to them. But I'm like, is he trying to collapse the dollar? Like, is this something like he's actively trying to collapse the dollar? And have you guys seen that people are this year not paying taxes? They're going onto their W-4s and they're putting in exempt. It's the, tax strike, 2026 tax strike. Have you guys heard about that? Are you participating in it? Maybe you don't want to admit that here if you are or not, but because our income taxes are being taken and wasted, stolen, because we're not even actually legally obligated to pay taxes. But to me, I've said and had the thought and the feeling that they're trying to collapse the dollar because they want to usher in this new era of new money. Some say the US economy is actually in collapse and it's being hidden. Yeah. I pay my taxes. So on social media, there's a big push and a lot of people are saying they're not going to do it, especially once all this Somali stuff, really people have been talking about taxes for a while and wanting to do this and going on strike. But once the Somali fraud has hit our eyes, ears, and minds, they are saying we're not going to pay taxes until you start cleaning this up. I don't agree with the tax on our employment tax. Income tax. I don't agree with that. I've known for a long time, since the 90s, that was something that was supposed to be temporary, and we were never intended to pay it infinitely. And what they do with that money, they use that money and make more money for themselves. This go? Gosh, my stinking mouse is gonna, I might as well stop that. I never get notifications for Candace. Yesterday I got on her stream 15 minutes late. Oh, wow. And what time are we at now? And she is on 4:15. Anyways, we'll pick up this conversation. Let me get over, my mouse is not wanting to work, so I have to use this. And I'm going to add, remove. I'm going to get back on, oh, you guys. Why in the world? That's not what I want to have there. Remove. Nothing's wanting to work for me, you guys. Gosh darn. My keyboards. Okay. Just get a different. Okay, she hasn't started yet. We're just queuing her up. Share screen. Here we go.
All right, you guys, happy Tuesday, and we will start with a question of the day. Now, imagine, if you would, that you were writing a Netflix series about a 19-year-old kid who had never been in trouble ever, actually. He'd never been arrested, never committed any crimes. He has a perfect ACT score, so he's also pretty brilliant. But for whatever reason, you decide that this protagonist is going to become a murderer. He's going to, one day, out of support for his trans furry lover, maybe he's the furry and the other guy's, I don't really know. The point is he's going to assassinate a political figure in broad daylight, who, it should be mentioned, that particular political figure isn't exactly known for raging against the LGBTQ community. But anyway, that's what this person decides to do, assassinate him. So one afternoon, he scales a rooftop at a university that he never attended, and he accomplishes what he set out to do. He murders Charlie Kirk. What would you expect that young man to do next? If you're just trying to sell this as a what you would expect someone to do next logically. Well, today we are going to tell you where exactly Tyler Robinson went after he went to Dairy Queen. And it's interesting. And of course, it just pokes more holes in the Fed sloppy story. So welcome back to Candace.
Nice. Where did he go? After Dairy Queen.
All right, you guys, before we get into this craziness, I want to tell you that this episode is being brought to you by Nimi Skincare. I am very intentional with the brands that I work with, and Nimi is one that I actually use every day because it's clean, simple skincare made right here in America with no ideological baggage, no nonsense, just products that work and align with my values. So you can visit NIMIskincare.com today. Okay, let's jump into this. It was allegedly Tyler Robinson. He was allegedly acting alone on a rooftop, and it is allegedly supposed to have been the first time that he ever killed a human being. So I think most people who are thinking through this, we naturally would expect a little bit of adrenaline, right? Maybe even the thought of what he had just done for the very first time might have made him physically ill. Like we would expect him to maybe lose his lunch, not exactly pop over to a nearby Dairy Queen to have lunch, calmly have lunch and just begin texting his lover, which is why I was very surprised to learn of what Tyler Robinson did thereafter. Ready? Tyler Robinson, we can exclusively confirm to you all, drove 3 hours away from Orem, Utah, down to Panguitch, Utah. I hope I'm saying that right. A lot of the cities sound weird. I think it's Panguitch, Utah. I'm showing you a map of that distance. It is just under 3 hours to get there. Now, what was he doing there? You're probably wondering, did he meet up with somebody? No, he was alone. And what we can tell you that he did when he got there was that he pulled into the Cowboys Smokehouse on North Main Street. He grabbed himself a seat at the bar at this steakhouse, and he ordered himself some more food. Specifically, Tyler Robinson ordered a steak, medium rare, with mashed potatoes and vegetables. There were 3 servers that were working that night, and then after news exploded the following day, and people began obsessively sharing, of course, the photo of the suspect, Tyler Robinson, having been captured after 33 hours, well, one of the servers recognized him as the person that was sitting at the bar the night before. So they decided to huddle up with management and said, no, that person, Tyler Robinson, he was here. He was eating a steak. He was eating mashed potatoes. Management said, are you sure? Are you positive that Tyler Robinson said, yes, I'm absolutely sure. Well, they don't have any cameras at this restaurant. So what they decided to do was to verify that he was in the building, not by, of course, consulting outdoor video footage, which they didn't have access to, but rather just looking through credit card charges. Because Tyler Robinson, despite telling his roommate how he wanted to get away with this, remember the messages and like, oh, here's what happened. I don't want anybody to know. Make sure you delete this letter that's under the keyboard, but take a picture of it before you delete it, but read it and then destroy it. He's trying to get away with this crime. Well, he used his credit card. That's how they found it.
Huh.
And so what they did was the right thing. They contacted the feds. Now, that's interesting because I would imagine that after 33 hours, when they sort of gloriously come out and yeehaw, we got him, I would have, and call me crazy, I don't know how this stuff works. I'm not an expert, right? We're not experts, but I would imagine the first thing that they would do is that they would probably just try to figure out where he'd been. And maybe one way they would do that would be going through his credit card charges. I would imagine the federal government had that capability, but they didn't do that. Instead, they were contacted days later by this restaurant. The server filed a report responsibly and said, yeah, he was here. We have the literal receipt, And they explained that Tyler Robinson was not very talkative.
See, they're not doing an investigation. She's right. Why wouldn't you do that?
He seemed absolutely fine and normal. and was texting on his phone. Maybe that's when he was sending more messages to his lover as he was eating a steak. He was sure hungry, is what I would say, but calm nonetheless. He didn't have the jitters. He wasn't scared. He was just hungry. Now, what's fascinating to me is what happens after, because again, I'm expecting that the feds would go, well, let us get down there. Let us get down to Panguitch. Let us start interviewing everybody.
Yeah, I mean, duh, you would, they have access to that. They can do that. But not only that, as his phone, which they didn't get the text messages from his phone, I believe. They got it off of the Discord, the roommate's computer.
Let's start checking all these cameras around here to see if we've got them. No, that's all they did. They sort of were obliged to call them back and to say, okay, what happened? And then that's it. The trail goes cold. Now, remember, I told you guys that I spoke with the lawyer. This would obviously be Erica's lawyer because she's listed as the victim. And they asserted that at this part in the process, what happens next is that the investigators, separate from Erica, are supposed to be, well, investigating. They're supposed to be going around trying to gather more information to prove their case that this is definitely the shooter and he acted alone. I would expect that they would have gone down to this restaurant. I can tell you guys today, they have not. Nobody is interested in going down to this restaurant and speaking with these employees and speaking with people nearby and seeing what they saw and learning about Tyler Robinson's demeanor. Because it's not that kind of an investigation, guys. This is case closed. Giddy up. That's what he was. He went down and he had himself a steak after he had some Dairy Queen. Now, 3 hours is a long ride. I get it. He's probably hungry. And I get that he used his credit card because, I don't know, I guess he's Gen Z. He's never heard of like DVDs and stuff. They've always had the technological capabilities. He doesn't even know what cash is. He didn't even think about just going to an ATM and getting cash out to pull off this crime. He thought through everything else, how to scale the rooftops, how to make this happen, where exactly Charlie was going to sit. But everything else kind of falls apart afterwards. All he could think about was getting food, and he decided the best way to try to get away with murder was to use his credit card. Now, parking aside the fact that he's a 4.0 student with a perfect ACT score, he couldn't, that thought just never crossed his mind. It's just take cash out. So here is what our now updated timeline looks like from that day. It's been a while since we have revisited that. And I think that we also need to revisit, which we are, the Dairy Queen stop, because it had to have occurred earlier than we had initially documented. It definitely happened, but I think the time frame of the stop is wrong, because if we need 3 hours to get from Orem down to Panguitch, and I have confirmed that that happened, again, there was a literal receipt and the FBI knows about it and has that in their possession, then it's got to be earlier, right? It's got to be slightly earlier that he went to Dairy Queen, which would track for me, because if we know that he was throwing clothes out in the Dairy Queen, that's probably going to be a little bit closer to the shooting, and he's not going to hang around. So here's what we have. We have that press conference that happens at 5:30. At 5:59, Kash Patel tweets that the subject, erroneously tweets that the subject in custody has been released because, they had erroneously tweeted that they had him before that. And he says, our investigation continues. After 6 o'clock p.m. is when we are gauging the first correspondence to have taken place between Tyler and Lance based on the conversation that they were having. 6:38 is when we initially had when that photo was taken. That photo was captured at the Dairy Queen, and I will update that for you guys. I am going back and trying to be more precise, wondering if that needs to be adjusted by an hour. Maybe it was actually 5:38 p.m. and time zones were wrong. I'll follow up with you guys there. And now we can add that 8:45 p.m. That's the time approximately that Tyler turned up in Panguitch, Utah. Again, that is 3 hours away from Orem. He has a meal at the bar counter, and then he leaves around 9:30 p.m. Remind you guys that he is fine. He's in a totally fine mood, and he is texting while he is eating, not speaking much to the servers. So when I spoke to the people who had reported this, they suspect, and I think this is a good suspicion, a good instinct to follow, that he may have gone to his grandma's house afterwards, because apparently that's where his grandmother is from and she lives nearby. And if you guys recall, Tyler Robinson's grandmother was one of the first people to speak out, and she said, "You have the wrong person." She said, "My grandson does not fire guns. My grandson did not commit this murder." And so since I am learning that she is from around here and that she is a local and everyone's familiar with her, they know who she is, I would imagine that it's possible that Tyler Robinson could have gone to his grandmother's house for the night. Again, we don't know that as a fact. I am putting it out there because this is an investigation. And by the way, if you are somebody who is around or rather operates a business around the Cowboy Smokehouse, you may have footage that you're not even aware of. If you have information, maybe the feds called around, I don't know. Please, we are inviting you to send us an email to moretips@CandaceOwens.com, but we can now officially plot that in our timeline. And it just makes the feds story more just unbelievable. Just unbelievable is what I would say. Nothing they are saying makes any sense. We can also add this to the list of stories that we have broken, because one of my favorite things ever is how no matter how many stories we break, no matter how much information we provide, the haters will forever say, "She has presented no evidence." They're just going on vibes in a dream on the Candace show. That's it. She had a dream, and now she's just blindly pointing the finger at everybody. And so I actually decided while we were on break that I had time to put together a list. And this is by no means definitive. This is just a list of stories that we have broken on this show. So here we go. Charlie's text messages. That was a pretty big one, showing that he was, in fact, abandoning the pro-Israel cause 48 hours before he was assassinated, despite the fact that everyone lied about that fact. We presented the photo of Tyler Robinson at the Dairy Queen on the day of the assassination. Tyler Robinson, we are telling you today, then went to the Cowboy Smokehouse that evening and likely, I should put likely there, avoided traffic lights. We can also tell you that Tyler Robinson called out of work on the 11th. That's another story I'm breaking here. He was citing food poisoning. He called out of work very early in the morning on the 11th, and he also called out of work on the 10th, saying that he had to help his grandmother move furniture. That is an interesting data point that I would like to present to you. Again, he is using his grandmother as an excuse. I think that if I was the federal government and I had unlimited resources, if I was the state government and I had unlimited resources in the form of people's tax dollars, I would probably be wondering if he went to his grandmother's house that night. Just saying.
Yeah, and even if, like Cash said, we've got him, case closed, we don't, need to do anything, they would still, for the case, still have to make an airtight case. So they'd still need to have proof aside from, you'd think, aside from him just saying so. They need to have proof backing his statements up.
Tyler was working at Wild Electric, by the way, in Santa Clara, Utah. I did not break that story. That was already in the news, but you may have missed that. And yeah, that was his excuse. He had to help his grandmother. I also broke the story about Charlie's Catholic considerations. I didn't even mean to break that one, but then I had to present the receipts because people were acting crazy about him attending Mass, praying the rosary, that he died wearing a St. Michael pendant, and that he had a private Catholic funeral Mass. I also broke the story regarding Terrell Farnsworth's strange behavior moments after the assassination. I broke probably the biggest story of all, actually. It is the only reason that we are still discussing this. It's the only reason that we realized, the single reason, the first reason rather, the primary reason that we recognized the feds were lying to us was because I broke the story that there was no blood on the back of Charlie as he went down, that the bullet did not pass through. I also presented to you guys the photos from inside Charlie's SUV after his assassination. I broke the story that the feds did not impound that vehicle. Broke a story that the feds seized the cameras inside the hospital, that the feds blocked Dr. Trotter from returning to his operating room and that a phone call was then placed to DC. We are still trying to figure out to who received that phone call, which allowed Dr. Trotter to go back into his operating room. We broke the story that Andrew Kovett lied about the Superman neck. That quotation never
Except
came
that
from
was
Dr. Lee Trotter at
Erica.
all. It allegedly came from Erica in a moment of upset. We broke the story that Charlie texted Dan Flood and Andrew Kovett the night before saying that he was afraid that they were going to kill him. This has now been confirmed by Erica, or at least it was confirmed to me from Erica. We broke the story that Netanyahu called Charlie to make an offer to take Turning Point to the next level. That story is being disputed by Erica. That's a Turning Point on Turning Point fight, okay? I don't know who to believe, but I will say that I confirmed that separately from Andrew Kovett with someone that did not have communication with Andrew Kovett, so I tend to believe that that offer did indeed come through. We broke the story about Fort Huachuca, and we're not done with that. We presented the military police report, backed that up with evidence that Mitch was telling the truth about what happened on September 9th. We broke the story about the Egyptian planes, pardon me, tracking Turning Point Faith. That document we still have for you, which is coming forward. We will be proven correct on that as well. We broke a story about the bomb dogs failing to detect the recently discharged
Yeah,
weapon
that's crazy.
on September 10th, and that it was actually the feds that then directed three rookie police officers to find it. We also broke the story of the massive check that was coming to Turning Point USA from Pierre. Is it Pierre Dupont? Is it Pierre Falcone? I think it's Pierre Falcone. I really do believe it's Pierre Falcone for a lot of reasons. We are still looking for more information. So when it comes to receipts and evidence, we have been presenting a lot of it. And we are getting no credit for it. We don't care. We don't want credit, actually. What I want is
to solve it.
This to be solved. I want to know who killed Charlie Kirk, and I don't believe it was Tyler Robinson. And on that note, we should get back to the Fort Huachuca story, because this has proven to be a very interesting lead. And we have a couple of interesting updates to add to that. First and foremost, I should say, for good measure, that Turning Point USA would like us to clarify that while, yes, it is true, the tent idea was initially brought up by Elizabeth McCoy, it was ultimately a group decision to move forward with the idea, a group decision between the events team and the exhibitor hall team. Now, the idea from them was that at future tour stops, people would use that tent to grieve and to share their thoughts about how Charlie had changed their lives. I think, just as a spectator here, there are other ways to grieve, and you can still share stories about how Charlie changed your life. You don't need to be under the tent that he was murdered in. That's just my feedback there. Second update,
such poor taste. I feel like that was in such poor taste. It's kind of sick.
Time regarding Fort Huachuca as well. Erica has submitted another follow-up text regarding her whereabouts on the 8th. Now, you will recall, as I told you yesterday, that the issue with the first message that she provided, which was purportedly a conversation between her and Charlie about dinner on the evening of the 8th, was that the contact name was blocked on the message. It was blacked out on the message. I had received that, by the way, on December 28th. I immediately said, hey, could you unblock that or uncover that, rather? And I followed up about 4 to 5 times, just trying to get that before we came back onto the podcast. I just said, I just want to see the contact number shown. Well, when I got off air yesterday, I had a follow-up, but it unfortunately was not what we were looking for or what we had asked for. It was just a Charlie Kirk contact card, just like this is Charlie Kirk's contact card in my phone. Now, I should add here that I am obviously working through a third party, and they made it clear that Erica has been tied up with something personal. So that's the reason for the delay. There were sick kids as well throughout the holiday. So there's just been a delay on getting that. But I wanted to let you guys know where we are at. No response at all from Brian Harpole. I've told you that several times. Or relatedly, Dan Flood. Now, Dan Flood was not seen at Fort Huachuca.
It doesn't take that long to send a screenshot. It doesn't take that long to record screen, go to your messages, it doesn't take that long. It really doesn't.
But he does have communication with Brian Harpole. So I wanted to exhaust every effort to get to the bottom of where these individuals were, specifically Brian Harpole and Erica Kirk. Now, regarding Mark Amadei, you will remember that Mitch had described a person who he was sure was a congressman. He felt that it was a congressman. And I told you that we looked up a congressman that fit the description of what he was telling us: 5'9", glasses, grayish white hair. And we came up with Mark Amadei, and he said that face looks familiar. Then Mark Amadei came out, and he had dropped a YouTube video of a live stream of him on a committee. And then X came back and said he actually missed the first 2 roll calls. This was a 12-hour House committee video. We certainly did not have the time to parse through it in our last episode last year. I did, of course, make that a priority during break. I did go through that 12-hour footage. And I would like to now state unequivocally that I think his story checks out. Now, I realize there's been some confusion because he does, in fact, miss those first 2 roll calls. But people then pointed out to me in the comments that he does appear, you can see him on the screen early on. It is blurry, but that early on where he is sitting, it looks like in his chair. When I visually look at it, it looks like Mark Amadei to me before the roll call. Now, it's certainly by no means definitive, but I think it is indeed very likely that the person that we see on camera is Mark Amadei early on in the hearing. And I am not here to try to make someone fit into the story. I want to actually find the right person and eliminate the wrong people. And to be clear, like I said, Mitch initially contacted me about just Erica Kirk and Brian Harpole. Brian Harpole being the big one, this meeting, this hands-on meeting that looked like mission is on the table. Let's go. Break right before mission. That's how it was described to me. Now, regarding Mark Amadei, there is someone else that I believe that we should look into. Okay. Follow one lead. If it doesn't lead where we think it's going to go, we can pivot, and something interesting has come up. Now, I will start by restating, I have never felt good about Terrell Farnsworth, okay? Not since that very first phone call I had with him. In fact, the phone call I had with him, I can say, was the very first moment that I went, something's not right here. I told you guys, he just started lying to me. Repeatedly, weird. His energy was weird. I was like, what's going on? Why are you being weird? I'm calling you because I'm just trying to let the public know, like, you know, why you took the cameras out. I'm sure there's a logical reason. It is kind of weird that you're there. Why are you there? He's all over the place. And again, this is not in the immediate aftermath. This is not first 48. We've got the jitters. Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, I've gone back and listened to that, watched that video and listened to it again. And it's it's weird. It's almost like Terrell, the look on his face, it's almost like he's like, oh my gosh, they really did it. Like, I don't know, like if you were to have, you were in a conspiracy to do a crime like that you maybe weren't so sure about, and then you actually went through with it, and then you're like, oh my gosh, we just did that. To me, that's what it looks like. I hope she shows the video again. If not, I'll find it.
Killed. This is like a week past that.
I'm sure she will.
And I expressed repeatedly to my audience that something was not right with that phone call. As soon as I hung up, I said to my team, and I'm quoting myself here, that man is guilty of something. He's guilty of something. He's lying about weird stuff. I don't know how to send a file. What do you mean? You run an entire AV company. You know how to send a file over the internet. Well, I'm scared Google might hack me. What? You're scared Google's going to hack you to release more footage of Charlie dying? That makes no sense. Nothing made sense, and I will never pretend it made sense. And I'm following my gut on Terrell Farnsworth, okay? And I expressed my gut, not just to you and back at home, but I also expressed that to Erica and Justin Strife when we were sitting in the meeting. I said, I'm not taking my foot off of that pedal. No. I do think that it's worth stating before we get into this that me finding the behavior And the conversation that I had with Terrell to be extremely suspicious is not, of course, an invitation to harass him or his family. I'm against that. And I'm saying that because apparently he is receiving death threats. That was told to me, that he's receiving death threats because people want answers. Now, not ever do I ever want that to happen. I don't want people to watch this show and partake in that. Nor do I think you guys are partaking in that, but I'm just saying that, like, on this show, we sentence people to truth, to more daylight. And the reality is that I don't trust people who lie repeatedly to me over the phone. I don't. He was acting guilty during a time when I had no indication one way or the other whether or not Turning Point people would be involved in a cover-up. And for clarity, I want to show you guys this as well exclusively, a still image of the much longer video I have that was shown to me of Charlie from behind. Okay, this is the video, and you can see what we have there. That's Charlie's necklace that's hanging. There's no blood on Charlie. There was absolutely no blood on Charlie. Not only did the bullet not go through, it didn't even cause any sort of destruction. And I follow that video until he goes down. There's nothing that we would expect to see from a 30-06. And again, I have a close-up of this. That's his chain. There's no question that what you are seeing there is his chain. And the only blood that I saw was blood in his hand, which was spurting forward, to be clear. This doesn't make sense to me. Doesn't make sense to the narrative. Doesn't make sense to anybody that knows anything about guns. It just doesn't. Okay, Charlie was in pretty good shape, except
the microphone theory. Have you heard it?
He had the wound on his neck that we all saw, the graphic video that we all saw that was circulated online. Now, I'm going to add here that another person who I do not trust at all, for many reasons, because one of them being he's a sexual deviant. He's also been indicted for crimes by the state of Arizona, federal crimes, for which he was recently pardoned by President Donald Trump. I think it's fair to assume that a person who commits crimes in the past might commit crimes in the future, or I guess allegedly committed crimes. I think those court cases are still moving through. I think that's a perfectly logical assumption that a person who's involved in doing the wrong thing might keep it up.
Yeah, they're most likely going to keep it up. Yeah, the microphone theory. I've watched that. At first, I didn't pay much attention to it because I'm like, yeah, it seemed a little, a bridge too far. But that seems more highly likely. And they're saying that if there was an electric shock, that would be the reason for him growing real tight. His ring was knocked off of his finger, and then they're speculating that it made the microphone housing explode, and that a piece of shrapnel went into his neck, which is what caused the gash in his neck, and then the spurting of the blood. Really interesting, and it is far more believable than what the feds try to give us.
Person that seems motivated by money, a person who factually was in debt and was having his payments garnished at Turning Point USA, who then blinks and becomes a millionaire working for a charity, might be a little bit shady. I think Tyler Boyer, it is a logical conclusion that he is at best a very shady character. I'm going to stand by that. 10 toes down. Now, because I was hyper-fixed on Tyler Boyer, I decided to ask Erica in person during our sit down how she met Tyler. It was actually, I had 3 questions when I went in there that I wanted to get the answer to. That was actually my number 1 question, because I don't know much about the story of how Tyler met Charlie Kirk. And I now desperately wish that I remember, that I could remember what Charlie told me about that. How did they get linked up? And I felt that me asking Erica that question, she might be able to provide a lot of insights to who Tyler Boyer was during the time he was with Charlie Kirk, why, maybe even before he was with Charlie Kirk, and why he got involved with Charlie Kirk. And of course, as we know, Erica knew Tyler for years before her and Charlie began dating, right? Both she and Tyler have been honest about that fact, particularly citing Trump's 2015 presidential rally as an event where the two of them attended together, right? Standing behind Donald Trump in Arizona at his 2015 July rally. which I should mention also her mother, Lori Francevy, is in the background. So the three of them have known each other since at least July 2015 publicly. So I asked Erica how she met him.
Look at her face.
Her answer was that she met him at the 2015 rally because they were both standing behind Trump. And I immediately corrected her. I said, that's not possible. It's not possible because Tyler discussed knowing you already at the, if we're calling it funeral rally, do people, I don't even know if that's kind of what it was, like a funeral political rally.
It wasn't a funeral.
Tyler got on stage and he told the audience that Erica had called him asking how she could get involved, and that he then made a decision to put her behind Donald Trump. Here is Tyler making that statement in his own words at Charlie Kirk's memorial.
At his wedding, I told the story of talking Charlie into moving to Arizona. He was an adamant Chicago boy. I needed to break that. Selfishly, I wanted him to love Arizona because I had recently convinced him to move Turning Point USA to Arizona. It was a hard sell at first, and that was until I hosted the first Trump rally in Trump rally history right here in Arizona in 2015. I got a call. I got a call from Miss Erica Kirk, Miss Arizona 2012. I just want to help, she said. So naturally, I put her right behind the president at that first rally.
Okay. So she called, she said, I wanted to help, and he put her behind the president. So I'm sitting with her, and she doesn't remember how she met him, but she said that she would look back through old messages because, like me, she never deletes any of her messages. And she thought maybe, specifically, she said that they had a connection in politics via a senator or a congressman. That's what she said. Now, in hindsight, after that meeting, because I have continued to prod the narrative on Terrell and Tyler, I believe that's accurate. I thought, that's interesting. Who were the congressmen? Who were the congressmen that Tyler maybe knew? Well, I should tell you guys that Terrell Farnsworth and Tyler Boyer go back. They go way back. I'm talking generationally back, okay? Terrell Farnsworth's parents went to high school with Tyler Boyer's parents. They're all from Chandler, Arizona. And then Tyler Boyer and Terrell Farnsworth went to high school together. They graduated, it looks like 2 years apart from Gilbert High School. So these two are thicker than thieves. They are overtly political, obviously. In fact, at that very same Trump rally in 2015, Tyler Boyer introduces himself as the youngest chairman of the Republican Party. He's very involved in Arizona politics. And like he said, he's telling the truth. He was the reason that Charlie decided to put Turning Point USA's campus in Arizona. Charlie's from Chicago, right? That's where they first started Turning Point USA, in Chicago. Tyler has been driving this bus. And like I said, hiring the people around Charlie Kirk. Except for me. That really just, I was the anomaly. We really just met. And I wonder if it would have happened if, Tyler was there. Anyways, the point here is that Tyler Boyer was very well acquainted, obviously, with Terrell on a familial basis. And he was very close with Terrell's family, particularly Terrell's uncles and cousins. Terrell's father is a man named Dwayne Farnsworth, and his first cousins are longtime Arizona Congressman Eddie Farnsworth. I believe he left office in 2022. And also his brother, Eddie's brother, is David Farnsworth. So just to reiterate that, you have Senator David Farnsworth. He's still in office. You have Eddie Farnsworth, who was the chairman of the state House Judiciary. And those two men are brothers and first cousins with Dwayne Farnsworth, who is Terrell's father.
And Wayne's Farnsworth is the one who handled a bankruptcy for Tyler Boyer when Tyler Boyer was broke in 2017. And then all of a sudden, Tyler Boyer in 2021 has enough money to put $650,000 cash down on an almost $2 million home.
And they are extremely close to Tyler. In fact, Eddie has actually been sued in the past with Tyler. Like, they're on the same side. They are being sued together. You can go back and you can mine all of this. He has known that family for a very long time. Anyway, in 2014, Senator David Farnsworth introduced Erica's mother to the House floor with concerns over EMPs. Okay. At the time, David Farnsworth was actually sponsoring the bill, a bill which would involve introducing Lori, who was then the CEO of G Tech Industries. And Eddie Farnsworth is also listed as having voted on this particular bill. They got it passed through. So the three of these people knew each other, Eddie, Lori, and Dave. And you can see here at the top, when you look at the members present, it says E. Farnsworth, Mr. That is Eddie Farnsworth. And then if you scroll down, if you see here, it's telling you who's sponsoring this bill. That is David Farnsworth. And it says that he became concerned about a potential for an EMP event a short time ago. And he got support from Congressman Trent Franks. And it then tells us that he introduced Larry Ginta, Chuck Lee, and Lori Francevy, the CEO of G Tech Industries. Larry Ginta, by the way, or Gwinta, I don't know if I'm saying that right, is Erica's stepfather. So they've known each other. The Farnsworths, the Boyers, and the Francevies have known each other at least since 2014 on paper. We could keep looking and go backwards, but it is very likely, obviously, given how close Tyler Boyer is to.
And people are telling me who live in Arizona that the Farnsworths are embedded in the Mormon church pretty deeply and have a history of criminal wrongdoing or suspected of criminal wrongdoing. Yeah, one big happy family. Yep.
These men that they all knew each other going back to 2014. I think likely earlier, if I am being honest. I have an indication that it was actually earlier, but this is on paper. So let's stick to the facts. Anyways, Eddie Farnsworth is an interesting character because the year prior in 2013, Eddie Farnsworth was, as I said, the chair of the House Judiciary Committee. And he caused a bit of a kerfluffle in the state because for some unknown reason, he blocked a hearing on a bill to prevent child sex trafficking. And he was the wrong person to do this because he had been in the news years earlier because his nephew, Albert Farnsworth, had raped a 13-year-old. Okay.
So I just to pause it there. So one of the reasons that Erica's past marriage, with the name Chelsvig, that it allegedly seems like she's trying to hide, was back in Romania, and she has ties to that Romanian trafficking situation with the charity that she was running there when she was a teenager, which is odd, and why she allegedly has been kicked out of Romania.
Now, on this topic of this child sex trafficking bill, he didn't bring it down to the floor for a vote. And it had support from Democrats and Republicans because it is a problem in this state. Child sex trafficking is a problem in the state of Arizona because the border is there. And they were trying to do something about it to make it so that it was less easy for people to traffic children. I think specifically ages 15 and 16. And I want to say that never in my life, in my political life, have I worked on a single story where a theme of child sex trafficking has emerged more. I've never seen it in my life, okay? Whether it's the people who own the planes, remember the 888 plane, they run an anti-child sex trafficking charity. Also in their profile pictures, they're wearing a t-shirt from another child sex trafficking charity, Operation Underground. And you will recall that following the assassination, Phil Lyman was speaking to the guy that used to run, I'm blanking on his name, Tim Ballard, that's his name, Tim Ballard. He used to run Operation Underground because he had gotten donation and support from Glenn Beck for Operation Underground. He was involved in that. I remember because I interviewed Tim Ballard about Operation Underground. Fort Huachuca base, which has randomly come up because of Mitch. In general, they also are caught up in a child porn ring. That's a real story that has been an issue at Huachuca base. And I'm showing you this article from CBS News. U.S. Army missed the red flags about a civilian leader who led a child porn ring and risked U.S. security. That person's name was David Frodsham. He was a top civilian commander. at a U.S. air base in Afghanistan. You can go on and you can see that it says that after he left his post, he returned to Fort Huachuca, which is a major Army installation in Arizona, blah, blah, blah. There is also Fort Huachuca base, which gets involved in a scandal relating to child sex trafficking, where Turning Point USA has their base, where they actually decided to put the campus, if you will, Turning Point USA, just outside, literally across the way. There's a place known as Arizona Mills, which is like the #1 place for child sex trafficking, just like across the street. I want to be very clear here. I'm saying that I'm making no connection there. I am not suggesting that Turning Point USA is trafficking children. I just want to be very clear. I'm just saying that everywhere I look in this story, themes of child sex trafficking come up, okay? Anyway, I am wondering regarding Eddie Farnsworth if it is possible that Mitch saw him, because he's a dead ringer for Mark Amadei. When I saw this, I was like,
that's
whoa,
what I thought too.
Doppelganger. This man looks like Mark Amadei. I sent it to Mitch and he said, yes, this man looks very familiar. Again, these are not the people that he contacted me about, but I would like to find out if this could be a connection. I'd like to see if it's possible, because the Farnsworth family has deep military ties as well. I legitimately do not know. I am not making an accusation here. I personally think he looks a lot like Mark Amadei. And as a final point, interestingly enough, connecting a final dot here, Arizona politicians happened to travel down to the Davis-Monthan base for their annual Commanders Summit, where Arizona community leaders meet with military men. This is very close. This is about, Mark, what is this, 40 minutes away from Fort Huachuca?
It's a little over an hour north in Tucson.
Okay, in Tucson. They happened to travel here for their annual Commander Summit on September 9th. That happened. You can see this, we're pulling this up on the Davis-Monthan Air Force Base website. It says that they kicked off their Arizona Commanders Summit on September 9th, which provides an opportunity for military commanders and Arizona community leaders to discuss topics impacting military installations. Again, that could obviously just be a coincidence, but it's interesting. It would give them an excuse to be in that region. And so I'd like to know more, because the Farnsworth family is coming up too much. Terrell Farnsworth's wife, by the way, people on the internet discovered this, and I'm going to get the name. I don't want to get this name right. I'm going to get this name right. I mean, I don't want to get it wrong. His father-in-law is Thomas Burt, who ran Duncan Aviation. The FBO, I told you, that rented the cars for the feds. He actually ran Duncan Aviation as the executive vice president and COO for 22 years. Now, he did retire. He retired in 2019. There's just a lot of connections here that I think should be explored more about the Farnsworth family and the Boyer family. And I want to put this out here because something just, like I said, rubbed me the wrong way when I spoke to Terrell, and I can't let that feeling go. I think that Terrell knows more. Yeah, that was my vibe when I got off of the phone. So anyways, we're going to take a brief break here and throw it to our sponsors. All right, you guys, Nimi Skincare is one of the only skincare brands that I have stayed.
Okay, I was hoping that she would play that video. Let me see if I can. Barnes. I'm seeing if I can find that video. Ugh. I just want the video. Like, it has a bunch of different YouTube. Let's see. Strange behavior. Full video. Skip. Okay. I'll play it for you guys afterward. Anyway, the Farnsworth are yeah, questionable to me. Did you guys see the Wolves and Finance video about that? I did sort of I did a summary of basically his 30-minute video. I think it's a 30-minute video. It's well worth the watch. I don't remember if I talked to you guys about it the last time we were together live. But it's a really good video. And it talks it's the last video he has of the whole financial thing with TPUSA.
which was formulated to cleanse your liver.
Okay. So it just lists a bunch of Farnsworth, and what I find out, what I've been talking to somebody who lives over there in Arizona, is that they're a shady group of characters. So it wouldn't surprise me if they were somehow tied to this, especially seeing the full video of Terrell and his reaction. It really is like he was like, oh my gosh, we really just did this. And then matched with what Candace has found and what she's been saying. It makes a lot of sense. So the video is from
PDS debt, because whether you are struggling with credit cards.
The video of his is from a week and a half ago. It was during the Christmas break. So it's the last one that he did about TPUSA. Really good. And so I'm doing a whole like mind map, trying to connect all these names and seeing who in the government they're connected with and what kinds of bills that they voted for and blocked, like she did with the child trafficking and all of that. Yeah, he's good. I really like him. Wolves, what's his name? Wolves of Finance. I can't. Is it Alex? Anyways, I feel like he's really thorough and honest. He does it because it's the right thing to do, not because he wants to get something out of it. So I think he's trustworthy.
.com/Candace. Again, that's pdsdebt.com/Candace. pdsdebt.com/Candace.
PDS.
All right, you guys. So yesterday, we didn't really break the story. We just were kind of responding, I guess. We were very confused. Normally, we do this show at 4 p.m. Eastern, and it looked like the Daily Wire was teasing something on my channels, which they brought back, and then they released stuff on my old Instagram channels. And I guess it was supposed to be like a clever way of I don't know. I actually don't know at all what
trolling.
they were thinking. But it got them some attention, and then we were able to very quickly determine, because the tips box is just absolutely savage, that what's been in the works is that Daily Wire has been casting people for a show that's designed specifically to make fun of me and also Tucker Carlson. Okay. Now, in general, I would say the Daily Wire has been in a casting rut, trying to find the new Brett Cooper. Probably for well over a year now. It's not easy to find raw talent like that. And I think really at long last, they found someone that they think might work, except rather than being bubbly and kind, the idea is she's going to be a bit manic, over the top, and of course, a little bit bitchy and mean, right? Because if you're noticing, that's kind of the new Zionist bent. Sort of this, and we've shown you clips in the show, like, you can't sit with us, we're cool, like you're broke if you don't like what we do, and we're hot and you're not, like the Hampton Summit, and they're like talking about how much money they have. Another brilliant PR ploy from a country that's mass murdering innocent children. Like, you can't sit with us. Never occurs with them that we just don't want to sit with them. That's kind of the whole point of what we're doing. Anyway, before Maddie, they apparently tried out other people for this role. They had considered a show, putting together a show that would make fun of me and Tucker Carlson. They tossed around 3 other people. They even considered doing a combination show with a person who had played the bailiff on Matt Walsh's Judged, and that didn't wind up panning out. Now, Maddie was then landed upon, and they decided, because we're really going to stick it to Candace, we're going to have her name the show In the No-No. Haha, get it? Candace says we don't know, but we know. Ben's on stage saying that expression is retarded. And now we're just going to bring this show to life and give it sort of a Nickelodeon iCarly vibe.
Don't you feel like she has a case for harassment? It seems like she'd be able to do something. She'd have some legal recourse. This can't be right.
But it's the Daily Wire, but they don't have a kids department anymore, but this kind of feels like Nickelodeon, but it's iCarly meets politics, which is just kind of wrong. And the idea is we're going to take Candace clips out of context to make it seem weird. And I'm going to show you it. I'm going to show you guys so you could see it. To tee this clip up, she is going to really dramatize me discussing the history of Utah's state flag. Now, I don't know if I'm getting old. I am actually. I do know I'm getting old. In my ripe old age, I'm interested in history. I'm interested in learning about flags and the history of their beehive flag is what I presented on my show. And Maddie in the no is really gonna mock me. So let's take a look at it.
Idea that the Utah state flag is a hexagonal beehive.
All right, let's try this. Let's really try this, okay? Chronologically. Utah adopts the beehive symbol in 1948. Fast forward 175 years later, people start using bee language as codes.
And I communicate with them by dancing.
People that use the code, they're clearly communists because communists work together. They follow a hive mind. Yes, queen. Underground, communists. Mormons live in Utah. I watched The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. I know what's going on here.
They've always been known as the beehive state. And to be clear, it's not because they make honey. It's not because they have a high presence of bees. In fact, in terms of making honey or bee-related products, they rank number 24. It's actually the beehive state. It relates to the Mormon church, the Church of Latter-day Saints. Early Mormon pioneers founded that state, and they liked the idea of a beehive working toward a common good. Now, if that sounds vaguely familiar or communist to you, the idea of worker bees, yes, that's where it's from.
Did the Mormons know that the bees were commies in 1948? Did anybody watch that South Park episode? You know what? None of this matters. Let's get to her conclusion.
Okay. That's going to fail.
It's really good. It's really good.
Oh,
it's really
no.
sweet. So funny. It's like very original. I would say she's clever as a fox. Plus teach her why we use that particular simile, but I can tell that facts about animal symbolism and history are obviously not her thing. So I guess the idea is Candace is discussing the state flag and she's using that as proof that Charlie was murdered or something. And it's interesting.
I know. Well, it sounded like that's what Candace is saying because they don't have a kids like section now. So this is going to be it. Maybe they're trying to catch the younger crowd. I think that's going to be an epic fail. It's not funny. And it's brain rot. Yeah, I don't know.
Interesting. It's a vibe. Anyway, wanted to show you that
bad.
because the Daily Wire
It's bad.
continues to exhibit stalker vibes.
Yeah.
This is not normal. I am now telling people that Ben Shapiro is my psycho ex-boyfriend because that's what this feels like. None of this is normal. We don't have to pretend this is normal. Nothing that has happened since I have left that company is normal. Not how I left the company. Not the glorious town hall, the slave hanging, teach everybody a lesson.
Okay, so also, if this is a show that Candace did while she was there on the Daily Wire, they're like making fun of themselves because they're the ones who aired it, right? Okay.
It's psycho ex-boyfriend. It's the ex-boyfriend that breaks up with you, blasts a message to all of your friends, says, come look, here's why I did it. I hate her. And you're like, okay.
Okay, well, so Ben Shapiro is trying to get in close with TPUSA. So Charlie Kirk had distanced himself from, let me take this off the screen. Okay, had distanced himself, but then after Charlie died, then Ben comes swooping in and he was on the Charlie Kirk show and he's disgustingly transparent about just trying to kiss a butt, saying whatever you guys need, whatever amount of money, like whatever I can do. And of course, then Ben Shapiro gets on AmFest and then completely tries to obliterate Candace and Tucker and anybody who isn't speaking out against this or against them or and denouncing them. So, oh, he's a pick-me. He is a big pick-me on a midget horse.
Hey, I guess this is over. That's fine. I'm gonna move on to my life. And then you try to move on in your life. And like he's sliding into the DMs of everybody saying you can't deal with, don't speak to her. She's terrible. I'm going to smear her. I'm going to tell you what she is. I hate her. It's like, okay, fine. That's okay. I'm happy to move on in my life. Means I'm going to sue you. I get everything. The apartment we share, the car you're going to leave, you're going to have nothing. Okay, that's fine. Take it. I'd like to just move on in my life. I'm going to sue you again because I'm upset about something else. Okay, fine. I would really just like to move on and close this chapter in my life. Then all of a sudden, he's like jumping onto stages and talking trash about me. He sees I moved on. I'm like, okay, I'm just doing my own show here. You don't know, but you know, like, why do you care? Are you good? Are you good? Can
He's
you move
psychotic.
on? And you're designing shows after me. This is not normal. This is not how employers are supposed to behave. I'm being so serious. There's something
Sue
about
him.
it that's like, and parking aside Maddie, she's just the latest pawn. You know, they just got to find someone who really desperately wants to be famous, stands on a couch, okay, whatever, thinks she's going to be the next it girl. That's fine. There's nothing to do with her, actually. I hope it works out for her. I am speaking about an employer that can't move on. This feels dangerous to me. Like we're getting to a stage of obsession that is dangerous. You have to go create a show that's interesting and compelling that people want to watch, that's not based off of somebody that you fired because you didn't want them anymore. That doesn't track with the public. So I just feel like this is getting very...
You know, she's right. And thinking about her putting it in those terms about it being dangerous, because it's sick and it's wrong and it's twisted and it's psychotic. But, you know, when she says it's dangerous, that, you know, it's true. So when you think about like the abuse victims, the domestic abuse and, you know, anything like that, and that like when one thing doesn't work, they ratchet it up and they ratchet it up and they ratchet it up and then they just go nuts. It's potentially very dangerous.
Very creepy. And it's making me uncomfortable. And there should, in fact, be laws to prevent this from happening. There should be laws
that
prevent employers from sending interns to stalk you at events, from trying to get you canceled from speaking events, for buying your friends. Like, oh, that's the next step of the crazy ex-boyfriend. I'm going to reach out to everybody you know and offer them money. Yeah, I'm going to pretend I was Charlie's friend. What are you doing? Why? Why are you doing this? Why are you so inside of my life? Please just move on. This is not mentally healthy for you, Ben. I want you to be better. I want you to get better. Seriously. Move on in your life. It's okay.
Get help,
Let
Ben.
go of people that disagree with you. It's okay. Also, leave Megyn Kelly alone because I see you're eyeing her too in a weird way. You seem to be gunning for her now. Let it go. This is not healthy, and I'm asking you to leave this alone in 2026. Go do a show that's based off of that girl's talent and something that's interesting, and don't just use her like a pawn. That's what I would say. Anyways, if you guys want to know the no, head over to the Daily Wire, support Maddie. The show's going to be great. Or you can just watch my show. And we can keep talking about state flags, actually, because then I got more interested in more state flags. Never mind. I'm not going to tell you about the Pelicans and Louisiana, but we were looking into that. And it is kind of interesting to learn about the pelican on the flag of Louisiana's state flag. Moving on, you guys, to other psychopathic things that are happening. I did not realize that Brigitte Macron is having those people who like retweeted things that she deems to be harassing the truth, right? Brigitte Macron believes the truth about his gender is a form of harassment. This is very chilling. They are sentencing these people to jail. I did not realize that. I thought this was like just the fine. I think I read it too quickly. I thought it said, oh, it's $10,000 fine. No. 8 men and 2 women between the ages of 41 and 65, okay, who she is accusing it's harassed me, it's harassed my family. My family's testifying. It doesn't matter whether or not I did these things to Emmanuel when he was 14. It doesn't actually matter. What matters is that you're hurting my feelings, bringing them up. You could just imagine this argument in court. Like if Jeffrey Dahmer was alive and you're like tweeting at Jeffrey Dahmer and you're a sick cannibal pedophile. And then he's like, that actually doesn't matter because you hurt my feelings. That's really mean. I don't want you. That's harassment. You can't just call me those things. That's the vibe of what's going on in France right now. It doesn't matter if it's true. It matters if it hurt Brigitte's feelings. And so what has happened here is that They testified that these tweets were malicious, they were degrading, they were, quote, insulting, they were intentionally harmful to Brigitte. And of the 10 defendants, 8 were given suspended sentences between 4 to 8 months. And a 9th was sentenced to 6 months in jail because that person just didn't even attend the hearing. That's what's happening right now in France. Okay? 3 of the individuals were described as the instigators, and they were then ordered to have their social media accounts suspended for 6 months. Retweets. She feels harassed by the truth. You can harass people with the truth
For
now.
retweets.
And to be clear, all of them were ordered to attend an online course regarding hate speech. Hate speech can also be true.
We're not far
speech.
behind,
If
you
they just
guys.
feel, if they hate it, that's it. And they have to collectively pay Brigitte Macron what's known as moral damages, around $12,000. Moral damages. I am telling you that because you need to fully compute what they want to do here. Okay? That's the purpose of this lawsuit against me, never before seen lawsuit against me, is that evil people are getting caught doing evil things, and those evil people still have enough power to pass through legislation and to establish
They do want to
laws
take social media.
to make it so that they never get caught again. Or even when they do get caught, you have to shut up about it. This lawsuit that Brigitte has brought against me matters deeply. I am telling you guys, this lawsuit, everyone should be paying attention to every single file.
Did you see the video I made about Shlomo, the Israeli billionaire tech guy?
Filing pertaining to this lawsuit in Delaware, a place where I'm pretty sure France has been running the game since the Revolutionary War, because I believe that the feds are colluding because they want to introduce new speech laws in this country and make people fearful to tell the truth about the things that they have actually done. Wild. I just felt like I needed to fully present to you what was actually
I'll show it to you after.
happening in France. Prison. 65-year-old person. Maybe they just retweeted. Who knows? We have to get into the documentation. But this is not defamation. She's not making the argument that these things are untrue. She's making the argument that her feelings are hurt because you know that she was born with a penis. Wild times, guys. We'll be right back after a brief break. All right, guys, jumping in here to tell you about.
It seems like they'd be able to appeal that, but I don't know. You know, in France, the laws are probably quite a bit different, although we're catching up. They're catching up to us. You guys, I found the Terrell Farnsworth. It says it's the full video. We'll see. I'll play it after this if you want to still hang out. After she's done, I'll step away for a minute to do a bio break, and then I'll show you the Terrell Farnsworth video. And then this guy, Shlomo, I can't remember his last name. So he's calling for our government, but he speaks as though he's part of our government. And he's saying what kind of control should be taken with that. So, yeah. It's pretty crazy. And he keeps saying we, which I had noticed. I took and I slowed the video way down so that people could hear that part of it. But this has been in the works. I believe now. I don't know if you saw, Cisco. I had also done a video about the CBS anchor who's saying they're going to do better. People don't trust media, big media right now, and they trust content creators because big media hasn't been doing their jobs. Candace is back.
Hard copy of the autographed bundle, which is now available on the shop. It's both of my books, Make 'em a Sandwich and Blackout, hand signed by me. Who doesn't want the autographed bundle? I want the autographed bundle. Top comment from yesterday's episode is from Lori Gallio. She writes, having that tent at AmFest as a carnival attraction would be like having the limo that John Kennedy was shot in for a photo op. It is totally disgusting.
It's gross.
I am in total agreement with you. I cannot believe it was not stopped on any level. It's distasteful. And we have every right to feel the ick, I think, that most people feel, most of the human beings feel, not the Sentinel, obviously. That's wrong. There's 1,000 ways that you can honor Charlie. Stop telling us that it has to always be Miss Macabre, like we have to have the bloody mic and it's like we don't actually have to have any of that.
She said
You can
macabre.
just
It's
speak about him and
macabre.
say what he means to you.
It's
like I
spelled
did.
it
I actually just
phonetically.
told
It's
stories about Charlie Kirk.
macabre, but it's macabre.
And yeah, that felt pretty honorific. I don't need blood. There's something about it that feels like a seance at all times. And I don't like it. I don't like it at all. And many people at home don't like it either. Okay, let's get into the comments that are coming in right now. Jojo writes, Christ is King. Thank you for that donation. Brendan writes, Happy Feast of the Epiphany. Keep up the great work. That's not today. Wasn't that on last week? That was last week, right? The Feast of the Epiphany? I think I'm right. Is today a holy day of obligation, Chris? Okay. Got me. Brendan, you got me. I didn't know that. Angelina writes, oh, we are so back. By the way, the answer was that it's not a holy day of obligation, in case you guys couldn't hear them. Business writes, Candace, I adore you. My children watch you with me as well. My 28-month-old claps when she sees you on TV. Thank you for being our voice. You are often in my prayers. Stay safe. Christ is King. Thank you so much. It's such a sweet comment. Emily Sullivan writes, keep digging, Candace, praying that your platform continues to grow. I feel as though the Lord has laid on my heart to tell you that all that you are uncovering is to open eyes and bring people to Christ. Use it for the kingdom. Of course, absolutely. And I have to say that it's just been so heavy. I feel better this year, obviously, than I felt last year, but it is just that Tim Dillon dark comedic skit where you just go, what is happening? Has this world always been this way? Okay, it has. And I think a lot of people want answers like, what is the next step? And I don't know. I don't have an answer other than committing ourselves to truth. Unapologetically, we have to grow louder. They want us to become more silent. We have to expose them. That's what Brigitte is doing. It's like, we'll bankrupt you, we'll kill you, we'll do whatever it is to shut you up. And they want us to be fearful. And I think that we just have to continue to say, you know what, the truth matters and the truth is enough. And that's why I always say, if you're wondering what you can do, I do believe that the frequency of truth hits harder, and repeating the truth and saying the truth and not being fearful is a part of it. It's a part of how we've been thus far able to expose so much. I think that's accurate. Drew Case writes, you mentioned having Barron on your podcast. When is that going to happen? Both of your thoughts together will break the internet. You both are so close. God bless and stay focused. Yeah, I reached out to him and we are going to make that happen. When? I don't know. It will likely be on a Friday. Speaking of which, by the way, Friday, we are going to do, because I was like, why do a book club on Tuesday and then Friday? Let's just do an extra long one on Friday since we won't have an episode. So instead, we will be doing our book club.
Do you guys do the book club?
2 hours as we finish the book, Sigmund Freud and the Jewish Mystical Tradition. So you can at any time sign up for the book club, CandaceOwens.com. Drew, I hope I answered your question. Did I actually answer your question? Yes, Baron Coleman. So we are in conversation and hopefully that will happen on a different Friday. Humble Beginnings writes, I know that they have terrorized you, but I wouldn't let Ben Shapiro rent space in your head. Just keep moving forward. We are building, right? It's not about whether or not, this isn't about winning or losing. It just needs to stop. Like, I can't explain to you. It's getting, there's something about it to me that just is starting to feel dangerous. It's like, there's an obsession here.
Yeah.
There's an obsession with me that is happening. And I would like it to stop. That's it. It's not about whether I've moved on. I've said, okay, you can't hang out with people. Okay, you can't go speak here. Okay, you can't, whatever. I'm going to do, okay, cool, thumbs up. I'm going to have this, okay, cool. I would just like to move on in my life. I would like you to just leave me alone. There's something about it that feels parasitic. And I'm asking for it to stop. I am. And I hope that is enough. I hope that me saying that it's 2 years. Okay, you have to get over.
Let me go.
Relationship sooner than 2 years.
Yeah.
For your own mental health, beyond anything else. I just want it to stop, and maybe it won't. But I do think that employers doing this should not be acceptable. Like, under the law, it should not be acceptable. You should just be allowed to be fired, is what I would say. Jamie Paul
She's in Tennessee.
Writes, and I also want to add, just before I answer this last thing, I also want to add that you don't even know like 3% of what I have gone through with them. Because I have tried to be above board. I have tried to handle it in the best way possible. And like I said, my perspective on it was always, we are Christians. And so we need to not be reciprocal. We can't be mean-spirited. I mean, you see, we have limited our discussions of the Daily Wire at all on this show. And
I think we need to do a campaign against Ben Shapiro and the Daily Wire. I think we need to launch a campaign against Ben Shapiro and the Daily Wire, a campaign to get them to stop harassing Candace Owens. What would that look like? They can't get away with this.
And I'm doing series on Kamala and Brigitte Macron and things I'm interested in, like things that actually interest me, focusing on what I want to build. And that is not happening there. I don't know why that can't also happen there. If you think my ideas suck,
do get your
go
own.
invest in your ideas.
Yeah.
Why is your idea me? Why is your idea like
that's all they've got?
I just don't get it.
That's
really
how you
don't
know Ben
understand it.
Shapiro is a weak little man.
We'll see what happens. Jamie Powell Lucci writes, looking into Erica's mom's company, AZ Tech and E3 Tech, having contracts with the DoD for EMP hardening and the testing that is done at Fort Huachuca. Yeah, I think that that's accurate. And by the way, like I said, I don't think Erica ever denied that. She's like on camera saying that she moved to Arizona because her mother got defense contracts. Like her mother was working with the DoD. So she's been very open about that. And what would be interesting to know is if the Farnsworths secured those contracts for her originally when they first moved, like back in the early 2000s. And I'm sure that will come up at some point. Freethinker writes, Maddie in the no-no is a big no-no from me, fam. Seriously, though, what even was that? How embarrassing. I have secondhand embarrassment so bad. God bless and protect you forever, Candace.
Yes, it's
and
so
the last thing
bad.
that I just want to say as a mother is get your feet off of the couch, Maddie. Like, I am so sick of people thinking they can just jump up on a couch and put your feet up there. That's what upset me the most about that. Like, do not stand on a couch. No, you're not allowed to do that. My grandma, my granddad would say that's a no-no. So Maddie, that's where we're going to leave you on in the no-no is that standing on furniture is a no. You don't do that. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
That's so funny. That's so funny she said that. Because without shoes, so people take off their shoes in this house when they come in the door, right? Any civilized home makes you take your shoes off the couch or, your feet, your wait, oh my gosh, what's going on? Anyway, because you don't want to track in all the stuff from out there, right? On the carpet and stuff. No, my husband grew up on a farm. He didn't have to take his shoes off on the inside, but unless they were muddy. But anyway, so she stands up, she doesn't have shoes on, but she'll stand on the furniture. I'm like, what are you doing? You don't stand on the furniture. It crushes it. Don't crush the furniture. Are you crazy? Oh my goodness. Okay, so the Terrell Farnsworth video. So let me see. I'm gonna play that for you. And oh no, did it go away? Where'd it go? Full Terrell Farnsworth video. It said it's what it was. Let me. Okay, here. Okay, I'm going to pause it. Now I'm going to add you guys to the stage. Oopsie. I got to stop sharing this screen and share the other. Okay, so if you'll look at this, and as I've watched it several more times, because I was like Candace, when I saw it, I'm like, what is wrong with that? What's going on? And so to me, it looks like somebody who's just been busted or realizes in his conscience what he's actually really been a part of. So let me add this. I wonder if I can make this bigger. I wish I could. Okay, hopefully you guys. Can I make it bigger? It won't let me, but I mean, just watch. Okay, he's like, oh my gosh.
Then he said something that really bothered me. He said, I don't know how to send the footage. The file was too large. Oh.
Okay, that's not what I wanted.
So you run an entire AV company. Theo could.
They just shot Charlie.
He's hiding from what he did.
Kind of weird.
Allegedly.
Go ahead, catch your breath. Hit rewind. Watch it again. Watch it over and over again like I did, because you're probably thinking out loud, what the F did I just watch?
They just shot Charlie.
Like, look at the way he moves his head. Like, look at.
No instinct to run towards him.
Oh.
Then he said something that really bothered me. He said, I don't know how to send the
Yeah. So there's that. What was that other video I said I was going to share with you? Which one was it? Remind me, Cisco, do you remember? They shot Charlie. Who's they? Who's they exactly? And he's like, yeah, to me, he just completely, okay. I can't remember that video. I should have, I have my sticky notes here and a pen so that I can make notes because this will happen in my brain. I'll think and then a minute later, what was it? Yeah, everybody. I mean, even my father-in-law knows how to send a video. Oh, here's what I was getting. It was the whole social media thing. Okay, so I'm going to present, share screen here. And that's Instagram. Okay. Okay. So this is this gentleman. So I did 2 videos. I did one where with him, you know, just his clip, and then I did one with it slow motion when I slowed down the sound. But okay, guys, it's happening, and we are right in the middle of it. Government seizing control of social media. I've been ringing this bell, this alarm for a long time now. Take a look at this next clip where he talks about the government taking control of media, not just because of foreign actors, but they are going to turn this on Americans too.
It's difficult to hear, but it's time to limit the First Amendment in order to protect it. And quickly before it's too late.
What do you mean?
I mean that we need to control the platforms. All the social platforms, we need to stack rank the authenticity of every person that expresses themselves online and take control over what they are saying based on that ranking.
The government
should
control the social media.
Should do that. And we need to educate people against lies, and government need to develop cyber defense programs that are as sophisticated as the cyber attack. Today it's a 1 to 100.
Okay. So did you catch that? And he's saying, in case you missed it on the first video, Shlomo Kramer wants to take away our First Amendment rights on social media, wants to control social media, wants to control what we say and who's being seen. Here's the part you might have missed. He says we as in the government, as in he's part of the government. What part does he play in our government? I am fully convinced that we are fully occupied. Take a listen. I slowed it way down for you so you wouldn't miss it. He clearly says we, as in our government, as in the government. Take a listen and tell me your thoughts in the comments.
It's difficult to hear, but it's time to limit the First Amendment in order to protect it. And quickly before it's too late.
What do you mean?
I mean that we need to control the platforms, all the social platforms. We need to stack rank the authenticity of every person that expresses themselves online and take control over what they are saying based on that ranking.
The government.
The government should
control the social media.
Yeah. So the government, and because she's trying to, like, she's like, who are we? And she's like, the government. He's like, yeah, the government. But this whole time he's saying we. Anyway, I believe that there's, we're occupied. A lot of people believe that we're seeing it play out and at all this stuff. So in other words, we need to take away liberty in order to save it. Exactly. And what they want to save is they want to save the GOP. They want to save the Republican Party. And because we've got this TPUSA, especially since the Charlie Kirk assassination, it's, they're in a much bigger hurry. Not only that, but because of all the other stuff that they're doing, the Venezuela thing, the Somalia thing, they want to, they want to do that. I've been, like I said, I've been ringing this bell for a long time. So TPUSA, I've been digging into that and doing some research about what they're involved in. There's a PAC. Did you guys know that? TPUSA PAC. Anyways, but there's all these, if you're not on Instagram, well, if you don't go look at, haven't looked at the shorts that I post, look at the shorts, because I try to post everything on YouTube that I do on Instagram, even though it doesn't do as well, because YouTube has a little bit stricter, they'll shadow ban you. They'll shadow ban you if they don't like what you're saying. And so it won't get as much traction. Yes, they have a PAC. It's a, anyway, but look at that. If you're not on Instagram, you can go there too. But, Turning Point USA is into a lot of stuff. And so I had made a video, and I can't remember if it's on YouTube or not. I'll try to get it on YouTube if it's not, but about how, nonprofits, 501c3, NGOs like TPUSA, non-governmental organizations are able to have for-profit businesses, and they just launder and funnel that money back and forth and through to political parties. It's just a mess. And anyways, like I said, citizens are getting fed up and wanting to revolt. So there's that whole strike on taxes that people are doing this year. I don't know, if it's actually happening, and people who claim that they're going to do it are doing it or not. But that's a thing that is going like wildfire on social media. Nonprofits are a big scam, huge, and we're paying for it. Actually, I had looked up online when this whole Somali thing broke. I went to look at at the state of Wisconsin to see what kind of money is being paid through the same thing with the daycares, and that there's a lot of them. It seemed like they're making tens of thousands a month. They're getting money. I don't think I'm going to go track those addresses down and do that investigative work, but I appreciate people who are and breaking that online for us to see. And the governments, they're crashing out, and I think they know it. And so our rights are going to be invaded. It's actively happening, and things are in the works and in laws and all that. So expect that. And I think the only way we can change it, what's already in the works, is to remain loud and to remain supportive of independent voices. That's what I thought. It's dangerous to knock on doors. I don't think I want to get involved in all that. I'll let somebody else do it. But I love the fact that some people are going out there to do that. Anyway, I appreciate you guys being here. I missed seeing you and connecting with you on the lives. And I've got a super busy week coming back this week. I'm hoping to be able to make every live that Candace is doing, as well as doing some of my own that are not tied to Candace in some of these investigations and things that I'm looking into. So anyway, I appreciate you being here, and I will see you next time, and see you soon. Bye-bye.